Hi, Keahi Pelayo here, and today I want to go through some of the dynamics that I see happening in the 2026 Oahu real estate market. And let's first talk about a macro view, and then we'll get down to housing, and more specifically houses and condominiums. First of all, let's look at it nationally, and let's look at what's happening in November of 2026, and that's the federal congressional elections. And the balance of power is going to be in play because there are such thin margins between the majority and minority right now. And historically, the party who has the majority does their best during an election year to put economic realities in place that will make the economy be better, make interest rates lower, and allow people to get more of the economic goals that they have as a result of government intervention, for lack of a better word. And so could we see a stimulus package of some sort? I'm not sure, because that could be inflationary. More importantly, I think we might see interest rates drop. That could spur economic growth. If we're going to see it, I think we're probably going to see interest rates drop somewhere around the end of the first quarter. I'm just pulling that out of thin air, but they need to have the drop early enough so that it gets into the economy and you see payoffs in the economy. Two things are happening in relation to interest rates at the Fed. Trump has one appointment of a governor in January, and if he doesn't fire him, there's a chair appointment in May. That's going to shift the balance on the board. You know he's going to appoint people that are interest rate sensitive and want to see them drop to spur the economy. If he ends up firing Jerome Powell and appointing a new Fed chair, then it could happen earlier in the year. We could see lower interest rates. We all know that the Fed controls prime, but the bond, the 10-year bond, is really what drives interest rates. I think if we see evidence that the economy is getting better and more stable, then we won't have to pay as much to borrow money. And we could see interest rates drop on the 10-year bond too. Expect to see some lower interest rates. That'll make the summer a good time to buy. Let me see if there are any other dynamics going on in the economy. We're seeing manufacturing growth. It hasn't all hit yet. Trump's been in office for, coming up when I'm taping this, not even a year. But their manufacturers are building. We could see job growth, and we could see real growth in wages because of the immigration policies that are in place. Cheap labor is not coming across the border, and that means Americans could be paid more and buying power could go up. So let's talk about Oahu and what I see happening on Oahu. Honestly, I don't see a whole lot different happening here, in the sense that, we're very stable, right? We don't have a lot of industry. Our business here is really around government programs, the federal government, the state government, and the city government, and they're huge drivers in our market. And because of that, and because we're the center of all of that here in Hawaii, I think economically I see another year like last year. Could we have more travel? Not necessarily. We outlawed vacation rentals on most of the islands, so people have fewer places to stay. We could see higher room rates because there are fewer rooms, but in general, I think we are just going to have more of the same. Let's talk specifically about housing, and let's first look at houses, and let's talk about what I think is going to be the strong point in the market, and I'm going to call that the affordable gap. The affordable gap is where local people can buy. Demand has never been met. We always have had a shortage of houses wherever local people want to buy. Go back historically, pick a point in time, and whatever quote unquote affordable is, that's where the market is moving. In town, in urban Honolulu, it's $1,750,000. In other parts of maybe Kahala, nicer neighborhoods, $2 million to $2.5 million. If you go out to Makakilo, it's 1.2 million. So you have to look at whatever that definition of affordable for whatever that sub-region is and apply that, and that's where the market's going to be moving. If you see a house, here's some advice. If you see a house that you like, buy it because there are a lot of people looking for the same house you're looking for. If you can lock it up and buy it, I don't think you're going to regret it in the short term or the long term. Let's jump to condominiums. Condominiums have been battered, and they've been battered for a number of reasons. First, insurance. Insurance rates went through the ceiling over the last 3 years, and as a result, you've seen maintenance fees go up, as well as having special assessments to just cover the increased insurance rates that have come across the board. The good news is that I'm seeing here at the end of 2025 insurance rates dropping. The number of condominiums I sold at the end of the year, when we read the condo docs, we saw situations where year-on-year rates had gone down. In one building, it had gone down 50%. I sold another building, just closed it last week, as a matter of fact, condominium. And in that building, we just got notification that the maintenance fee went down 5.4%. Now, I've only ever seen that one time in the 35 years I've been selling real estate here in Oahu. So maintenance fees drop, right, in one building in that whole time. And it just happened again. And I haven't seen the documentation yet, but if I had to make a bet, it's because their insurance dropped. The other thing that's been dragging on the market is our older buildings have been replumbing and repiping, and owners have had to come up with $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to have their unit replumbed and repiped. Now, in some instances, they had to write the check. Other instances, their maintenance fees went up, but that's all getting done. I think 2026 will be a good year to buy a condo, and here's why. Number one, house prices are up year on year 3.8%. Condo prices have been battered a bit. And if you're looking for affordability in price, it's condos right now. And you may get more bang for your buck. And I think that if you buy in 2026, you're not going to regret having done so if you buy the right building with the right maintenance fee in the right location. Let's put that caveat on it. But I think that condos, there will be opportunities. And I think specifically it will be, again, whatever we identify as the affordability gap for that particular segment of the Oahu real estate market. So that's my overview of 2026. I think that if you're a long-term investor on Oahu, you're going to be happy you did so. If you're a renter, I recommend buying. I don't see rental rates going down. I don't see values going down far enough where you're going to get some deal at some point in the future that made sense to wait. I think that if you're buying in this market, it's a good time to buy. If you're a seller, you're going to do well. Bottom line, you're going to do well. And if you have any questions, or if you want to chat with me about either your buying situation or your selling situation, feel free to reach out to me and I'd be happy to chat with you. In the meantime, you have a great day.